Are you over this summer heat and need some cooler weather or maybe some inspiration to get you into fall? Then you're in the right place. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. And in today's video I have 4 brand new fall DIYs that are super easy, really creative, and so fun to make. A lot of these materials you can find at Dollar Tree, but I'm pretty sure you have most of these around your house. But before we get started, if you're new here, I hope you stick around by clicking that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. But don't forget to do all of the YouTube-y things down below, which is like, comment, and share it to at least one friend. It really does help out my channel. Now, with all that being said, let's just jump right into it and let's art today. To start off this DIY, you're going to need some sort of rounded sign. I have this American sign from Dollar Tree that was in their 4th of July collection. Now, any sign that is rounded would pretty much work, but this one worked out perfectly. Now, I am going to remove the little hanger because I'm not going to use it, and I am going to use the back of the sign as the front of my DIY project. Now, I know it is easier to use a heating tool to remove that label. I don't have one at the moment, so I just picked it until all of it was removed. I do want to cover the front of the sign because it is way too glittery and it was getting everywhere. And I'm just using some leftover craft paper that I have in my crafting stash, and I use hot glue to attach it to the sign. Now, this is totally optional. If you do not have craft paper, you can always use some scrapbooking paper or even paint over it so that you won't see the glitter, but I'm just using what I have on hand. After I have all of my scrap paper glued down, I am going to take a pair of scissors and remove all of the excess, and this only takes a couple minutes to do. Now we just need to decorate the front, and I am going to start painting mine in this light tan apple barrel acrylic paint. I'm just adding the paint right onto my sign. It's the easiest for me. Then I take a nice thin brush and I'm just going on the outer edges of this sign. We are going to turn this little board into a pumpkin pie, and I know it doesn't look like it so far, but after a while it really does come to life. I do add about 2 coats to the outer edges of each section so that it is really opaque. I do wait for them to completely dry for the second coat. Next, I'm going in with my outrageous orange in the same apple barrel collection, and I'm painting the inside of our little pumpkin pie here. I am making those little squiggles so it looks like the crust is on the outside, and then I will just continue filling it in with the rest of the paint. Now, at first I thought this orange color would be the perfect color for our pumpkin pie, but then I noticed it still didn't look quite right, so I will add other colors on top of it, mix it together so that it blends well. As you see here, I did mix up orange, that tan color, and a little bit of yellow all together, and I got this muted brown, almost muted tan with an undercoat of orange for our pumpkin pie, and I think it is a better hue that is closer to looking like pumpkin pie. Once again, I do add about 2 coats so that everything is nice and opaque. After I was done, I then took a darker brown color in my apple barrel collection, and I'm adding it to the outer edges of my crust here, and then also on the inner edges of it too, and then I will blend it together so it looks like it was just freshly baked and pulled out of the oven. Next, as you see here, I did grab a ruler and that same brown paint color, and I'm going to start making triangles. I wanted to really distinguish the slices on my pumpkin pie. Once again, this is totally optional, but I will continue adding those triangles all over until they were fully on our pumpkin pie, and then I will set that to the side to completely dry. Next, I found this piece of wood when I was walking with my family one night just lying on the street, so I picked it up and it works perfectly for this DIY. I believe it is a piece of flooring, but any piece of rectangle wood or even MDF board would work perfectly for this also. Now I want to paint mine, so I am using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White, and I only give it about one coat because I wanted some of that wood grain to show through, so I don't completely cover it 100%. I do paint the front and the back side of the sign just to give it more of a completed look. I did wait for that to completely dry before moving on to our next step. Next, I am going to start writing on some letters that say pumpkin pies for $5. At first, I was going to use Dollar Tree stickers, but I didn't have enough of them and they were a little bit too big for the size of my little wood plank here, so I opted out and I wrote it in instead. Now, if you've been following my channel, you all know that I really do not like my handwriting in some of my DIY projects, but this time I really took my time. This is sped up really fast for you all because this actually took me about 5 to 8 minutes to write all of this really slowly so that it looked really good and you can read it. But I got it all done. Next, I went in with my Posca paint marker in the color brown, and I am outlining what I just wrote on with that marker. I do give it 2 coats, and I do have to wait for the paint to completely dry to add the second coat so that you don't see any of those pencil marks. Question of the day. Do you find random objects out on the street or strolling along when you're walking and you pick them up and bring them to your house so that you can use them in your crafting DIYs like I did? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now that I have both of my pieces pretty much done, I wanted to connect them. Now, since this looks like a flooring board, there is a little groove here where my pumpkin pie can actually sit in. So I pushed it in first just to dry fit it, and then to connect them together for a longer lasting, I am using my hot glue gun and glue stick. Then I add it into that little groove, put back in my pumpkin pie, make sure that it is nice and centered so we can start adding on the details. I have this caulk from a Dollar Tree and I am adding it to each one of the slices of pumpkin pie to act as our whipped cream. I thought this was super adorable after I started adding them on. Now I am on the last little bit of my caulk here, but it just had enough to fit all of my little slices. After I have them set where I like them, I did make a little swirl by just using the edge of the caulk and picking it up so it had a little swoosh on top. Now for some decorations, I do like to use these glass beads from Dollar Tree as sprinkles. So these are in their bronze color, which was close enough to brown, and I'm adding 3 of those long ones that actually look like the long sprinkles to each one of our whipped cream toppers, and then I will add these little smaller rounded ones that have this little orange hue to it and add them to the whipped cream also. I did let that dry completely overnight, and then lastly you're just going to need some sort of hanger if you want this to be a hanging sign. I'm adding a little jute string on the back of it using my hot glue, and then I'm adding some duct tape on top of it so it will be a stronger hold, and that completes this DIY. This sign turned out super adorable and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to hang it in my kitchen around pretty soon when I start decorating for fall, but I would really love to know what you think about this DIY down in the comments section below. And if it's your favorite today, put number 1. This next DIY is super simple. Don't blink because it goes by really quickly. You're going to need some sort of window clings from Dollar Tree. I purchased these, I believe, last year, and I still have plenty to choose from, so I'm just going to use what I have on hand, but you can always go to Dollar Tree and see what else they have. Next, you're going to need 2 pillared candles from Dollar Tree. The ones in the glass would work for this, and as you see here, I did purchase these a while back, and they were $1.25. I'm not sure if they're still going to be $1.25. If you know, let me know down in the comment section below. Next, all you need to do is take your favorite window clings. Make sure to clean off your glass. I was just lazy and I just used my sleeve here, but you can always clean it better than I do. And I'm just adding the window cling right onto the glass. That is it for this DIY. You can decorate it so many different ways. So if you are in the lazy mood like sometimes I am and just want a quick DIY just for some fillers, this would be perfect for that. You just continue adding it all over the glass until you get the desired look that you're going for, and then that is pretty much it. Did you blink and miss it? Because that DIY went by super quickly. It is so easy and really fun to do, especially if you're not really looking for a long process DIY. You can just add all of the window clings on these glass jars and then hang them around your house. They are lovely. Remember, if this one is your favorite DIY, put number 2 down in the comment section below. For our next DIY, as you see here, I have one of these little tag signs I purchased a couple of years ago. It does have the letter J on it, and I believe it was in their fall section because it does have pumpkins on it. Now, the J was a little bit difficult to get off, so I am using the back of the sign once again. I am going in with this Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory, and I am starting to paint the outer edges of this sign. I'm not too worried about the middle because we are going to cover that, and I do give everything about 2 coats of this paint. Now, the best part of this DIY, it does come with a free printable, which is going to be linked down in the comment section below, so don't forget to check that out so you can print out this sign that I have created on Canva. It is a pumpkin pie recipe, and I just added little images onto it, and it is super adorable. So if you want one, make sure to check out the comments down below and in the description box. Now, my piece of paper was a little bit too big for my little sign, so I am pushing on the outer edges of it just so it shows me where to cut off the excess. Not to worry, it is okay. I don't mind that I'm cutting off of the images, but if you do not want to, you might need a bigger sign. However, I am going to continue cutting it. Now, I do cut it a little bit on the inside of where I press so that it fits inside of my sign. I did want to add more details to the outer edges to really make it look vintage, so I took this ink pad that I have. It is in the color black, and I'm adding it to the outer edges of my piece of paper. Then I took it and added it to the outer edges of my little wooden sign here, and I do give it a little bit deeper coverage on the outer edges once again to make it look more vintage. You can get the same look by using the dry brushing method with your paints, but I just went this route. Next, it is time to attach my sign to my board, and I am using my hot glue gun. Once again, I like using my hot glue gun. It is super fast for me, especially as a DIYer, and I have to make a couple of DIYs in one day, so I just add that to the back of the board and my piece of paper. But if you like to, you can always use some Mod Podge or even some Elmer's glue. I am now reattaching the hanger that came with the sign, but I did add some beads to it. I have some of these wooden square beads and these orange beads that were in my crafting stash. Dollar Tree always carries beads, so you can find plenty there. I did tie a knot in the back, and now it's time to decorate it. I first go in with these fall leaves that I purchased from Dollar Tree, and I'm hot gluing it to each side of our hanger here, making sure to leave it a little bit further up so that we can still read our sign. Once again, I am using hot glue to attach everything. Next, I'm adding some of these green leaves. Once again, I believe I purchased these from Dollar Tree. I removed them from the pick and I'm just hot gluing them into place. After I have my leaves where I like them, I am going to add a little sunflower right into the center of our sign here, and that is pretty much it. And I just think it is super adorable. This is how our pumpkin pie recipe sign turned out. And once again, I am super excited to add this to my kitchen around fall season, which will probably be for us in a couple weeks because I like to decorate early. Once again, if this one is your favorite, don't forget to put number 3 down in the comment section below. I love making fall wreaths, and this one has to be my favorite so far. I have a square wreath form from Dollar Tree and 2 types of ribbon that I purchased from Dollar Tree about a year ago. This one has pumpkins and sunflowers and pine cones all over it. It is super adorable. And then I have this orange burlap one that is so pretty also. Each ribbon said that they were about 3 feet long, so that is perfect for this DIY. As you see here, this ribbon is gorgeous. I absolutely love the print that is on it. Now I am laying it down onto my wreath form so I have an idea of how much of the ribbon that I need to have. Now as you see here, I was contemplating to see which direction I wanted each ribbon to go. So I first start off with this beautiful printed one and I add it to the wreath form, got a general idea of how long it needs to be, and then I will use that as a guide to cut the rest of my ribbon. Now since this ribbon is 3 feet long, you get about 6 long strips out of it and a half of one at the end, which is perfect for this DIY because you're going to need 6 strips on each side. After I cut my ribbon, I did lay it back onto my wreath form so I have an idea if it was enough, and it is. You only need 6 strips. Now, like I said, it does come with a little bit left over, which will be perfect to make a bow with later on. Now, after you have 6 strips of each one of those ribbon, you then are going to flip over your wreath form and then add the strip right underneath it and hot glue it into place. As you see here, I just added a little bead of hot glue right onto the wreath form, folded over the ribbon, and then added more hot glue to secure it into place. Then I will continue adding the ribbons all the way down. You want to make sure that the ribbons are touching one another, but make sure that they're not overlapping too much so that there's enough space to move it later on. As you see here, I added a little bead of hot glue, took the ends of the ribbon, folded it over, and then pushed down so that it adheres down nicely. You're going to do the same exact thing for the other side. Also, the trick with it though is that if you have a printed ribbon like I do, you're going to need a solid one for the opposite side, just so that the image is facing one way and you don't have an image sideways. So as you see here, I'm adding the ribbon underneath the pile of ribbons that we laid down, but still gluing it the same way but on the side of our wreath form. Now either side would work, you just don't want to go directly on the parallel side, if that makes sense. Hopefully you saw what I did so I don't confuse you with my words. Now it's time to weave in your ribbon. I like to weave the solid ribbon so that I can see where the pattern ribbon will lie. It just makes it easier for me, but if you want to start on the opposite side, you can always do that as well. And then I will continue going all the way down in and out, over and under, and then when I reach the end, I do fold over the ribbon so it holds it into place until I'm ready to glue down. This DIY isn't hard at all. It just looks really intricate when you're done, and I absolutely love it. It is really beautiful. Like I said, this has to be one of my favorite fall wreaths that I've created on my page. Now, after you get all the way to the bottom here, once again, you're just gonna go up and down and see where that last one lies. Flip over your wreath form, and then you can start gluing the ribbon down into place. I like to make sure that I pull the ribbon really taut so that everything is nice and smooth when you flip it back over. Make sure that you flip your wreath back over and check to make sure that everything is lined up, and make sure that your ribbons are in the correct spot. There was one ribbon that I glued down in the wrong spot, so all I needed to do was pull it back up and then glue it to where it's supposed to be. Then this is the perfect time to fix any of the ribbon that was a little bit crooked to make it more straight and look even. After you are done gluing all of the ribbon down, this is what it looks like, and I absolutely love it. I took more of that ribbon that I have left over, and I did have a second roll of the pumpkin pattern ribbon, and I started making these little loops because I'm not really good at bow making, but I saw somewhere if you make little loops then you can make a bow. So I hot glued the loops onto each other, and then I placed it off to the side so that I can dovetail them. After I dovetail them and got it where I like it, I then started gluing them on top of my wreath. Now I first glued them as you see here on a diagonal, but I did it the wrong way, but I end up fixing it later. But as you see here, once again, I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue to the back of that ribbon and placing it on top of our little wreath here. I had a little bit of that burlap orange ribbon left, made it into a little bow, and then added it to the center of the other bow that we created by using my hot glue. Then I just wanted to add a little bit of details by using some fall leaves that I just had in my crafting stash, and I'm using hot glue to attach it down. Lastly, I just wanted to add a little sunflower to the center of our bow here, and that completes this DIY. I absolutely loved how this wreath turned out, and I cannot wait to add it to my front door this year. I think this is hands down my favorite fall wreath that I've created on my channel. I know I said that a couple of times, but I really do love how this one turned out. And if this one is your favorite, don't forget to put number 4 down in the comments section below. Okay, friends, you have made it to the part where I show you a recap of all of the DIYs that were in today's video. Once again, I had a blast making each and every one of these. These turned out so cute. They're really creative, and I'm super happy how they all turned out. Once again, I would love to know which one was your favorite down in the comment section below by putting 1 through 4, or just 1, or just 2, or just 3, or just 4. Hello friend, if you happen to be new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would love to have you here, part of our virtual art family, where we do a lot of DIYs with an artistic twist. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. I really do appreciate each and every one of you being here, but don't forget to do all the YouTube things down below, which is like, comment, and share it to at least one friend. It really does help out my channel. I am trying to reach the goal of 15,000 subscribers by October, and we just reached 12,000, so I am truly grateful for all of you being here. Thank you so much. Don't forget, I do have a free printable for you down in the description box below and in the pinned comment, so don't forget to check that out so so that you can have that pumpkin pie recipe printable in your collection. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy. Now I have to get back to making some more fall DIYs. So as always, I will see you in the next one.